Most of us want a consistent movement routine. We have that desire to be healthy and working out regularly, but oftentimes our busy schedules take over, and our dedicated time to working out is one of the first things that gets bumped off our to do list. So, if you have been struggling to stay consistent with a movement routine, let's talk about an easier way to fit it into our busy lives.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
I think one of the biggest struggles when it comes to having a consistent movement routine is understanding that it's not all or nothing. This is a huge thing to get over, especially if your brain works like mine. A lot of times I felt like I had to have a specific goal and I had to be following a certain program. And if I didn't follow it to the T, it was just over and I would have to give up and I'd have to start over. And it was just kind of a nightmare, and I always felt like I was failing. And I have had a lot of episodes on this podcast that talk about building a movement routine that fits into your life. And a lot of times, what I'm telling you is to create that brainstormed list of your favorite activities and then build a plan on how to fit them into your day stack as you're planning out your week. And there's a little more to it if you go back and listen to those episodes, but really it builds a routine that is consistent and it helps allow you to make sure you have the time to fit it in and move on with your day and actually enjoy what you're doing so that you do have a tendency to be more consistent with it. But I am hearing from people that are listening to the podcast that are still struggling with their movement routine. They just feel really busy and they are not getting enough time to build it in, even though they know that they want to have that movement routine. So I was like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, how can we adjust this and make it fit into a busy schedule, build the consistency, build that plan so that when motivation isn't there or when we're tired or when things just get a little chaotic in our schedules, we can still get movement in and feel good about that choice, even if we can't do it all and have this big huge routine that is built into our lives because our schedules just will not accommodate. There's just too much going on. There are seasons of life where that's going to happen. And there are seasons of life where things will slow down and you'll have a little bit more time and you can build that bigger routine in. But we sometimes just have to work with what we have to work with. Like we just have to accommodate. So I was trying to think of another way to do this and I came up with what I'm going to talk about today. And I do believe that this is going to be an easier way to fit a movement routine into a busy life. And this is not like a one size fits all. Like you have to build a movement routine into your life the way that works best for you. But this is just one of the very many methods that you could try and see if it works. So, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise during this episode to make it easier as you move forward. So, I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil or whatever you have to write with. And I want you to turn your paper horizontally so that you have more room for multiple columns. And before we move to the next step, I want you to actually divide up your paper into 7 sections. So you're basically creating 7 columns that go across your paper. And then once you do that, you're going to move to step 2. And at the very top of each column, you are going to like put a title or a header at the top of each column. So you could even, throw a line horizontally across the top to really separate the columns with the headers. And you're just going to do 5 minutes at the top of one. The second column is going to say 10 minutes. The third column is going to say 20 minutes. The fourth column is 30 minutes. The fifth column is 45 minutes. The sixth column is 1 hour. And the seventh column is 2 hours. So that's what you're doing across the top. So what you have is a horizontal piece of paper at this stage. You have a horizontal piece of paper, you've got 7 columns going across it, and at the top of each column, you have one of these time frames. So what 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay? And now we're moving to step 3. And this is the fun part. This is where you get to brainstorm what you can do and also like thinking about what you would enjoy within each of these time frames. So what kind of workout could you do if you only had 5 minutes? And you're just going to write those ideas in your column. Like actually write out a workout or an exercise or whatever you could do for movement if you only had 5 minutes. What could you do that day? And just brainstorm. You can put one idea, you can put 3 ideas, you can fill the entire column. Whatever you want, give yourself some options. So go ahead and brainstorm all the 5-minute workouts or movements or activities that you could do in that first column. And then in the next column, you're moving to 10 minutes. What 10-minute workouts could you do or 10-minute activities could you do if you had 10 minutes that day? And you are just going to move across the page and fill up each column as much as you want. You just want to make sure you have at least one option in each of the columns, but give yourself lots of options if you want variety. And when you're going through this, you can get creative. You can do just single moves or you can do the full exercises. So like for instance, if you did 5 minute the 5 minute column, you could put in jumping jacks, squats, high knees, planks, push-ups, standing oblique twists. You could do whatever you want and you could just do the single exercises or you could say, 20 jumping jacks, 20 squats and 30 high knees. Like that is a 5-minute workout and just repeat it until the 5 minutes is up. You could do it that way where you're actually building a workout, or you could just do single moves like this. In the 10 minutes, maybe it's a mini hit workout. Are you actually like plugging in a link to a 10-minute workout that you found on YouTube? Or are you just building a little mini hit workout and putting it in the column? Could you do like a mobility or a bar style workout or Pilates? In your 20 minutes, maybe it is a walk. Maybe you're going outside for a 20-minute walk. Maybe you're doing a strength workout that you found on YouTube. Like there are so many options within each of these time frames. Like sometimes we feel like we need a huge chunk of time to be able to get a good workout in, and we really don't. We can be consistent with little pieces in our day. And if you can only fit 5 minutes a day to working out, start with that because when you can do that, you're going to build the confidence, you're going to build the consistency, you're going to feel better. And eventually, when you start to shift into a season of life where you have a little bit more time, you just build on it. And then if it goes back to a busy day, it's like, I don't have to skip my workout altogether. I can just do a 5-minute workout and feel good. And then tomorrow I will have more time and I can do my 45-minute workout. And that is what we're doing is we're building the consistency. We're doing it for our health and we're doing it for our energy and our vitality. Like there are so many benefits to movement even if we can only do a little bit at a time. And then on the days that you do have a little bit more time, you've got more options because you have already brainstormed a variety of things that might be interesting for you. So if you have a 1 hour time block, what are you going to do with that? Could you go to the gym? Maybe you love going to the gym, but you feel like you need a full hour. Maybe it is a local workout class that you have always wanted to join, but you never feel like you have that hour. But plug it in there. And then when you do get an hour chunk, you can go and take that class and have fun with it. If you have a 2 hour block, give yourself some time, or some options, even if you don't feel like you have 2 hours, so that when you do end up having a 2 hour block open that you want to use for movement, you've got some ideas already plugged in and you don't have to think about it on the spot. So this might be a bike ride or hiking at a local park that you've been wanting to do. Like there are so many options that we can do that are movement that we can plug into our day even when we're busy because eventually the more you do the consistent small chunks of time, the more you will find that you start shifting your activities and your day around because you start to crave that movement and eventually you will start to build bigger chunks of time into your routine to be able to have more movement during your day. And if you are super stuck and you're like, I have no idea what I could do in 10 minutes a day or in 30 minutes a day or 5 minutes. Like, if you're just super stuck, and even if you needed to go through and have help for every single one of the columns, you've got options. You can Google, you know, the workouts that you can do in 10 minutes, and you can use Google, you can do it on YouTube. There are tons of options on YouTube. Just find workout routines within the time frames from trainers that you like the way that they teach. And if you don't know who you like as a trainer, just test some different options out, and you will eventually come across a trainer where it's like, oh, I like their style. And if you are still really stuck and you're just like, I just want to do my own thing, I don't want to follow it on a TV or on a screen or anything like that, go ahead and ask if you have ChatGPT or Grok to build a workout for you. You can just give it your time frame, your goal, and then what you have access to as far as equipment in your home. So, as an example, you could go in and plug the prompt into ChatGPT, and you could say, "Build me a workout I can do in blank minutes at home. My goal is to blank. I have access to blank at home." So that's kind of like your template of what you can give it as a prompt, and then just fill in the blanks. So, for instance, if I were to fill in a blank here, I could say, build me a workout I can do in 10 minutes at home. My goal is to build strength and increase mobility. I have access to a treadmill, dumbbells, kettlebells, yoga blocks, and workout bands at home. And when I plug that in, it spits out this huge plan, and you can ask it to simplify the plan, you can ask it to expand on the plan. If you look at the plan and it has a ton of planks and you're just like, my wrists cannot do planks, then plug that in and say, can you rework this workout without planks because I have wrist issues? And it's going to rebuild you a workout. So there are so many things that we can do, and then just plug those options in. If you need some ideas, it's always easier to brainstorm all your ideas ahead of time, and then you have a plan. So when you have that chunk of time open in your day, you're not scrambling and trying to figure out what you should do. Because if you are living a busy life and you have 20 minutes open on your schedule and you're like, this is the time I'm going to use for a workout, you don't want to get to that 20 minutes and say, okay, now what am I going to do? And now have to figure it out and now have to search for a workout or go into ChatGPT and ask it to build you a workout. Because by the time you're done, you're probably going to have only like 10 or 15 minutes left in your chunk of time. And now it's a much shorter workout when you're going to feel like, oh, I could have done the full 20 minutes and now I'm down to 10 minutes. So you want to have kind of a prepared list ahead of time, because then it's like when you see that 20 minutes, it's like I've already got a list of 20-minute workouts. All I have to do is go and pick one and I can get right to it and I'm going to feel so much better. And when you can do it like this, it's much easier to build a movement routine into a busy lifestyle because you have so many options. All you have to do is pick what works for you that day. So, I will quickly recap for you those 3 steps to find an easier way to fit a movement routine into your busy life is to create this list of options for you. So, step 1 is to grab your piece of paper, flip it horizontally, and divide it into 7 columns. And then step 2 is at the top of each column, title title it with a time frame. So column 1 is 5 minutes, column 2 is 10 minutes, column 3 is 20 minutes, column 4 is 30 minutes, column 5 is 45 minutes, column 6 is 1 hour, and column 7 is 2 hours. And if these time frames, I should just do a little side note, if these time frames are like not working for you and you're like these are weird, I should have different time chunks, then edit it. You do not have to do it exactly like this. Make it work for you, okay? If you need to tweak some things, go ahead and tweak it. And then you're going to move to step 3, and this is where you are going to brainstorm what you can do and what you would enjoy that you could do within each of these time frames. And then just go down each column and give yourself options for that time frame. So if you are working on the 5-minute column, then plug in any type of movement, activity, or workout you could do within 5 minutes if you have just a 5-minute chunk in your day. And then go to the next column. If you have a 10-minute workout time, then plug in options you could do within 10 minutes, and then just go all the way through each of the columns and build your variety and build a list so that you have options. And then as you go throughout your week, it does not matter how busy you are, you're probably going to have 5 minutes in your day to get that movement in and feel good. And that will help you build your consistency, even if you are living a really busy life. And as you have more time and your season of life opens up more space for your movement routine, you don't have to start from scratch. You can just amp it up a little bit and dedicate more time to it, but you're never having to start all over again because you never quit in the first place. You have been consistent, you've just been adjusting to what you can do in that season of life. So you can just make a choice for each day. Some days you're going to have more time, other days you're not, and that is okay. It's just moving forward and doing what you can. And this is a way that you can build a consistent movement routine into your life, even when you feel super busy. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope that if you're feeling like you are wanting to build a movement routine into your life, but you just feel like there's just not enough time, this is a way that you can feel better about doing it and doing something, because that is better than nothing. So I hope that you are able to take a breath in this busy season of life, and I will catch you back here on the next episode.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.